Listen to me. Listen carefully. This is important.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web in his eyes, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes Spider-Man.
Like almost every other Marvel creation from the early 60s, Spider-Man entered the world pretty much fully formed. After being accidentally bitten by a radioactive spider, transparent audience stand-in Peter Parker is gifted with superhuman powers far beyond those of mortal men. But unlike nearly every other hero before or since him, Peter did not immediately jump onto the protect mankind bandwagon. Instead, he used those powers to make some spending money, becoming even more identifiable to his target audience by acting like an apathetic douche. Until his uncle's fatally shot by a criminal he could have easily apprehended had he actually given a shit. And with this, Peter learned a lesson we've all since gone on to memorize.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Now fast forward to 1977. Adam West and Burt Ward's Batman is over a decade old, but you could probably still find it playing somewhere in the continental United States. Wonder Woman's about to start a second season on CBS, after getting cancelled by ABC, and there are fresh rumors coming out of Hollywood. That guy who wrote The Godfather is writing a Superman movie. But if I told you that within a year, CBS is going to become the network for superhero TV shows, you'd probably ask what I was smoking. I'd ask the same of producers Charles Fries and Dan Goodman, two TV movie vets obviously united in their mutual love of getting paid, and bringing Spider-Man to the small screen. But mostly getting paid. As we'll see, they left many an element of Peter Parker's journey to rot by the wayside. This wouldn't be so bad if the movie weren't so damn boring. But between the hero's origin story, the introduction of his entire supporting cast, and a villainous plot to blackmail New York City out of millions of dollars, you'd think they'd have enough to fill out 91 minutes without resorting to padding, right? Right. So like Wonder Woman, and unlike some other superhero movies from the 70s,
Hold it!
Spider-Man starts out pretty faithful, all things considered. Peter Parker's a grad student at unnamed university, trying to get himself a photographer job at the Daily Bugle.
Well, maybe I can get you some others. Something different.
That's what you keep telling me, but I always see this fancy stuff.
Its editor, J. Jonah Jameson, won't give him the time of day, since there are probably at least 20 kids just like him hoping to get through JJ's door. Besides, JJ has bigger things to worry about.
We interrupt this program for a special news alert. The mayor has received an extortion note in which the lives of 10 New Yorkers have been threatened. The writer claims that 10 people somewhere in the city have been programmed to destroy themselves at his command.
Let me see that again.
To prove that he has full control over his victims' minds, the extortionist accepts full responsibility for the bank robbery committed only this morning by two of the city's most respected citizens.
Actor playing Jameson is named David White, which is ironic since his Jameson's way too Perry White for my taste.
Suppose it's a hoax. What do we look like then?
Wikipedia calls him avuncular, in a rare instance of Wikipedia actually getting something right. I like Hilly Hicks a lot more. He's got this younger, high-energy version of Robbie Robertson that seems to fit JJ better.
What do we look like if we backpage it and it's real? What do you think, Peter?
Well, what's the difference what he thinks?
I'm just getting an opinion from a man on the street, okay?
I mean, I can really see these two hammering out each day's paper by bitching at each other like an old married couple. Which they've pretty much been since 1963 anyway. There's also this nice little aside with Peter's lab partner, another fellow David, with a kick-ass Captain America t-shirt, and a creepy smile.
Why, he's mad. Look at his eyes. Why, the man's gone crazy.
Some guy says he's going to have 10 people kill themselves unless the city pays him $50 million. Why didn't I think of that?
So after a painstaking examination of grad students working, we finally get our radioactive spider, and our radioactive spider bite. That's when our old friend narrative convenience kicks in. This movie's face. With its foot. Because some of those mind-controlled bank robbers are right around the corner and about to ram themselves into an alley. Peter's spider sense picks them up, and in homage to his comic book origins, he avoids death by discovering he can crawl up walls. And is it just me, or does the spider sense sound like a laser cannon from some alien invasion movie? Fucking knew it. Can't sneak anything past me, 1970s. Then we waste 2 minutes introducing a stereotypical cop who'll be our Inspector Javert for the remainder of the film.
Get this innocent bystander's name and address. And get these rubbernecks out of here!
Let's just say he's no Jack McGee and leave it at that, since his whole arc will have nothing to do with anything until the very end.
What are you so nervous about?
So Peter goes home, crashes, and we waste another minute on a slow pan across his room. And while it's here, the movie figures it might as well waste some more time on a dream sequence full of overlays that play back the scenes we just saw. And looking at him, I think Sam Raimi probably saw him too at some point. Hell, he probably caught this thing when it first premiered. I know I would have. And more power to him. He got to the spider bite in 10 minutes, while simultaneously setting up the entire main cast and most of the film's central conflicts. Here, we haven't even met the damn villain yet. And the people we have met are all boring, bland TV people. I mean, they can't even fucking swear like fucking real people do in fucking real life. Especially when they're from fucking New York, am I right? Oh wait, I forgot. This was filmed in LA. Except for this one bit where Peter gets brainwashed and almost jumps off the Empire State Building. That's pretty badass. I wonder how much crap you'd have to go through to get a location like that these days.
Is your name, in fact, Deshaun Fredericks?
Yeah?
Well, guess that's why they invented green screen. Time to waste some more time with a funkadelic montage, and some of the sweetest shitty composite shots 1977 has to offer. What's really funny is I found a quote from the St. Petersburg Times from April 5th, 1978, where star Nicholas Hammond proudly boasts that his show is kind of unique for its use of actual stunts. Unlike some of the bionic shows that can rely on technical photographic processes to get their effects, our show has really got to be done. Really? Nope. No technical photographic processes going on here. Not a whole lot else either. We're just watching a guy crawl on a flat surface where someone's projected the image of a house. And then we go outside to make things even more obvious. He picks a wall at random, and a purse snatcher just happens to come charging past that wall.
Hey, you! Hold it! Hold it!
And boom! He's an urban legend.
Yeah, he's right, officer. I saw him too. Right there, coming down the wall.
What's the matter with you people?
Back at the Bugle. Or whatever. I think it even gets a name here. It's just there. It's the Every Paper. I kept waiting for Jameson to shout, Woodstein! JJ still refuses to pay for Peter's pictures.
It's only $46.
And that's the problem right there. It's only $46. It's not like these $46 are the only thing standing between Peter and starvation, or between Aunt May's house and the fucking bank foreclosure notice. Oh no, it's only $46. And it's the thing that finally drives Peter to become Spider-Man.
Now, if you could get me a picture of the Spider-Man, that I'd buy.
Who? You think I'm kidding, but I'm not. I picked the wrong movie to quit drinking.
And you want to work here? You must be crazy, too.
Did you come here to see your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man try to wring only $46 out of his chintzy boss? So in trying to extract said amount of money, Peter basically talks himself into becoming a superhero.
You hear that, Robbie? Mr. Parker here saw a Spider-Man. Isn't that wonderful? Are you on drugs?
Back home, Peter probably is on drugs, since he'd need a massive amount of cocaine to sew himself up that costume in such a short amount of time. Still, the pictures impressed Jameson enough to win him an assignment. taking pictures of the latest crime scene.
Oh, is that what it's for?
He winds up saving the latest brainwashed bank robber, a university English professor, through the kind of surreptitious superheroing Lee Majors made famous. And the rest of the movie proceeds along fairly standard 1970s TV show lines. Wait, is that Snyder? Zack Snyder? Red alert. Oh wait, he's leaving. Okay, never mind. So, it turns out some crazy self-help guru named Byron, who ripped off some mind control medallions from the Mad Hatter, is programming people to rob banks and then commit suicide by ramming themselves into dead-end alleys.
This is starting to sound like a bad comic book plot. It gets worse.
But what more would you expect from a brainwashing guru? I mean, this is the kind of asshole you'd find making zombies off the Florida coast back in the 30s, when he would have been played by Bela Lugosi. Spider-Man versus Dracula. I mean, hey, why should Batman hog all the good gothic villains? Just because of the name of his town? Fuck that! Though it's nice to pretend he's talking to the mainstream TV monoculture of his time when he's saying stuff like this.
You deserve to be the miserable fools you are, because you'll never be happy.
There you go, guys. Mechanical web shooters. Are you fucking happy? Well, good, because you're gonna pay for it with more padding. Blew all your money on the first figure out how your powers work montage, didn't you, you bastards? Oh, now we get the scene where the hero's tricked into becoming the unwitting subject of the villain's mind control. We should have gotten that shit 20 minutes ago when we first introduced this Joker. But you had to get to an hour and a half, didn't you? Well, here's an idea. How about you write a story that supports that?
Now, if you'll excuse me for a moment, I have some literature I'd like to give you.
By now you probably noticed the big thing missing from this movie. Uncle Ben Parker, beloved husband and father figure, tragically struck down by the fact that, well, you can't just show someone dying on a primetime superhero TV show. I mean, the children might be watching. And heaven forfend the children see people die horribly. Aha, you say, but
I always think it adds resonance to a hero's mission to have some defining element of tragedy in his background, don't you?
And I obviously agree, or I wouldn't be using that clip in the first place. And few characters have a defining element of tragedy as famous as Spider-Man's. Why omit that from your origin story? It's only the driving force of his entire fucking life. It'd be like doing a Wonder Woman movie without Paradise Island, which they did in...
Let me make love to you.
Why?
Because your eyes reach into
You
mine.
misunderstood me. I didn't mean why should you want to. I meant why should I?
And it was shit. It'd be like doing a Superman story without doing Krypton, which they did in 2001. And it sucked. For 10 years. The point is, there's no Uncle Ben. There's no drive, there's no focus, there's no emphasis on doing what's right. There's no moral underpinning to all of this, which means we're just watching some guy in red and blue pajamas beat up a zombified kendo squad. Okay, I'll give it this much. That part's pretty damn funny. But without any Uncle Ben, there's not much for Spider-Man to do here either. He just gets involved with the villainous plot of the week because, well, hey, here's this hot girl.
I'm so glad I found you. Are you all right?
Never mind about me. What about you?
You disappeared from the ass end of the movie. As if you were the archetypal girl of the week in the archetypal 70s TV show.
It's incredible. How come you're the only one who's able to get pictures of him?
Simple. I believe.
What, like, clap your hands and I believe in fairies believe? Is Spider-Man our savior now? Well, that can't be right. He hasn't even died and come back to life yet. Though there was that business with the clones. Hey, Don't walk away from me. I got some questions for you, Parker. If you're so hard up for money, why don't you try out for the local wrestling circuit? I hear they'll give you some ungodly amount of money if you last 3 minutes in the ring with Bonesaw. I should pause to mention my genuine and unironic respect for the hours of dangerous stunt work that no doubt went into those few shots where Peter actually crawls around some walls. That's the best part of this flick, really. The idea that they really did have to strap a camera to some poor guy's head to get shots like this. Or this. I mean, that's pretty fucking awesome. The rest of the movie's a chore, though. Like Reb Brown's Captain America movies, it's got all the energy and pace of a forced death march through a tropical jungle, and it's beholden to played-out 70s TV formulas. If you've seen any given episode of those bionic shows Nicholas Hammond was talking about, you've seen this formula done better. And if you're a Spider-Man fan, your world's lousy with better interpretations of this origin story. If nothing else, just to pick an obvious example, you've got Sam Raimi's first film.
Down the hall to the ramp. May God be with you.
Though, to be fair, that movie has its own issues. Oh yeah, that's right. It's you and me, buddy boy. 3 rounds, no tap-outs. Last man standing wins.
How does that sound, Tiger?